This is Kat, and it's the day after the fight. I wasn't surprised. Also, bottom line is Floyd left 50-0. Conor made a lot of money. I also think that Floyd could have knocked him out, but the fight was stopped. One of the interesting things about the fight was other fighters now know Conor's weakness. Conor's weakness or tendency is to go out blasting in the beginning. And the difference between like a Conor McGregor and a Floyd Mayweather is that Floyd is very, very patient. He'll block, he'll take some hits, he'll figure things out, and then he'll take his time. He's not a premature ejaculator, shall we say. But I love Conor. I love what he represents in the sense of the most positive things about him. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's highly intelligent. I think he's pushing the UFC to treat fighters better, to demand more money. Because I think Dana is a very greedy businessman. Like most American capitalists, he's going to try to get the best deal for himself and for the company, not necessarily for the fighter. So with Conor McGregor, he's changing things. But the other issue is UFC right now looks very, very weak. Like they're having a lot of issues with steroids and injuries, and they just don't have that star power that they have when Conor McGregor is running around doing press conferences. So it's a very interesting time for UFC. One of the things I hope Conor works on is his pride and his ego. He can be really cruel, like we all can be when he's trying to win a fight and trying to get into the mind game of, attacking his opponent. But another thing we can learn from that too is Floyd Mayweather didn't let it bother him. He stayed focused, he stayed on his game plan. So when other people try to rile you up and get you distracted, you got to stay focused. You got to let it just wash off your shoulder. And, just on a personal note, believe it or not, I deal with a lot of, I hate to say competitors, because when I'm shooting, to me, I compete against myself. I'm not competing against other photographers, although they like to be very, very competitive, and they like to, they're like most people. They like to, show off and brag about certain things. To me, I want to do a better picture every time I shoot it. I want to get a new angle. I want to get someone looking at me in a special way that they don't look at other photographers. So I tell people this all the time, and they don't believe me, but I'm not competing with them. I could give, I'm trying not to cuss as much. I don't care what they're doing as long as they're not, invading my space or trying to hit me or trying to knock me out of the shot. Believe it or not, there's a lot of violence sometimes in photographing people, especially if you're around a bunch of a-holes. So, long story short, the lesson learned is not to let other people distract you with their mind games. And also, one of the things I noticed with this whole fight situation, there was a fear in me that there was going to be a lot of like race baiting and negativity, because you had a black fighter against a white fighter, and people using derogatory terms. And I just wish Conor would be a little more aware of when he's using racist terms and things, because he's on a thin line of doing that consistently, and I don't like it. I think he's a better person than that, and I think he can let that shit go. Part of that is just youth and ignorance. But the other thing I noticed on online, even on my YouTube page, there's always like these people who use racist terms and things when they're making comments, and then you look on their site or their page and they've got nothing on it. And I don't know if those are real people or just bots or just assholes or just whatever, but it's just, don't put the racism in the conversation. It's not necessary. Considering what's going on in America right now, I think there are people that are actually instigating more racial tension by using those words and trying to to blame certain people for, they're saying that, we're oversensitive about racism. That's such, denial is not just a river in Egypt. So, long story short, we got to respect each other a little more, but right now America's going through a very serious issue about racism, sexism, the fight for democracy, and I take that seriously. So everything is connected. Just because someone's a UFC fighter doesn't mean that doesn't affect business. And in regard to this fight, it's big business. A lot of people made a lot of money off of it. But on the flip side, I need to talk about Mayweather. Regardless of his personal life and whatever he did in the past, I think we have to respect the fact that he's a very intelligent fighter. I don't like a lot of things that he's done or said, but when I watch him, especially at that last press conference, the way he handled himself, the way he thanked the people that brought him to where he is, I saw a very gracious, humble person, and that's the person I can respect. And also as a fighter, I thought he was very very wise, taking his time and being patient, because he knew Conor was going to be a young gun, over anxious, trying to get that knockout, and he just took the blows, blocked them, and then he, hit. But again, I think he could have destroyed Conor if he wanted to, and luckily the fight was stopped, because concussions and brain damage is serious. It happens. You take a really hard hit to the head, and you're a different person. So I'm glad they stopped the fight. And I think a lot of times fighters, especially like people with a lot of egos, they can't tell that the fight needs to be stopped because their brains and the adrenaline's pumping and they just don't know. But I think it was very wise for it to be stopped, because I think Mayweather could have destroyed Conor with one hard punch. I think he was giving people a show, and I think we've underestimated his style, and I think we have to realize that people who know how to avoid getting hit are smarter than we think. It's not just about the fans getting a bloodletting and seeing guys beat the shit out of each other. I think it's about being a smart fighter. So anyway, I hope that helps. Some guys starting to work around here making lots of noise, so I'm going to stop. Thank you. This is Kat from Kattalestv. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Bye.